우리 쩌남 감독님이 사실은 영화를 여러 편 만드셨고 또 많은 영화를 편집도 하시고 미국과 이제 베트남 왔다 갔다 하시면서 활동을 하셨는데 처음으로 어린이 영화를 이렇게 만드시게 된 계기가 무엇인지 좀 궁금하거든요. 이전에는 호러 영화도 만드셨었고요. 로맨틱 코미디도 만드셨어요.
Yes, this is the first time we make a children's movie for Vietnam. Most of the time it's only for television. So it's two kinds of film that Vietnam cinema does not have. So sci-fi and then kids films. But this was all made entirely in Vietnam. Only the music was from my composer, who's I worked with for 7 films. He's from the US. And so that's the only one we did by Zoom. But everything is done in Vietnam. And I want to say thank you for the kids for coming to see. I'm always so happy to see kids when they watch Maika, at the screenings.
네, 관객분들, 특히 어린이 관객분들도 혹시 궁금하신 점이 있으시거나 감사한 평이 있으시면 손을 들어주시면 저희가 질문을 받고요. 특히 첫 번째 네 분, 선착순 4분은 저희 아세안 영화주간에서 준비한 선물을 드리고 또 질문해주신 분 중에 감독님이 지명해주신 특별한 기억에 남는 질문을 해주신 분은 또 더 특별한 선물을 따로 챙겨드리도록 하겠습니다. 혹시 우리 질문 있으신 분 궁금하거나 조금 이해가 안 됐어요? 네. 뒤에 가운데 마이크 부탁드립니다.
네, 영화 너무 잘 봤습니다. 재밌게 잘 봤고 혹시 이제 되게 그냥 개인적으로 궁금해서 그런데 이제 영화에서 나오는 마이카 있잖아요. 이제 그런 부분에서 이제 혹시나 감독님께서 이제 마이카의 캐릭터나 이제 그런 외계인의 설정을 만들 때 이제 참고를 하셨던 레퍼런스 같은 게 어떤 건지 혹시나 궁금해서 한번 질문을 드려봅니다.
Oh, the character of Maika? The character of Maika is actually from an old TV show from Czechoslovakia from 1978. And it was a TV show even before E.T. And the TV show was finally shown in Vietnam in 1990s, like 20 years later. And it got very, very popular. And so the studio, she's a big fan of the TV show, and so they wanted to remake for Vietnam, so they bought the rights, and then I rewrote everything. Yeah, and in the old TV show, you never see her like an alien. She had an orange dress and red boots, so that's why I tried to put that, a little homage, and I make the character with the orange dress and the red boots. But we also, in the TV show, her hair is like this, like a bowl. And a lot of the kids, when they were big fans, they saw it and then they want to go get their hair cut, like the Maika cut. They call it the Maika cut. And so many parents named their kids Maika because of the TV show. Yeah, so my assistant director, I asked her, hey, would you like to work on my film? And she's like, oh, what's your film? I said, oh, it's Maika. I don't know if you know the TV show. And he goes, I think I know the TV show. My daughter, her name is Maika.
네, 또 질문 있으신 분? 네, 바로 앞에 두 번째 줄 부탁드릴게요.
안녕하세요. 일단 영화 진짜 재밌게 잘 봤고 이제 영화에서 이제 보면은 일본 문화도 나오고 그 다음에 한국의 뭐 전통 음식 이런 것도 나와서 이제 이번 아세안 영화 주간에 정말 어울리는 영화였다고 생각하고 그 다음에 이제 소도구 같은 거 쓰신 것도 이제 좀 너무 창의적으로 잘 쓰신 것 같다고 생각을 하는데 이제 제 질문은 일단 이제 이번 영화 제목을 보면은 마이카 외계에서 온 소녀라고 이제 한국에서는 이렇게 제목을 붙였는데 이제 이거는 좀 제가 생각했을 때 이제 좀 직관적인 이제 딱 영화를 딱 하면은 딱 떠오를 수 있는 제목이라고 생각을 하는데 혹시 좀 감독님께서 생각하신 이제 좀 은유적이거나 좀 비유적인 제목이 혹시 있으신지 좀 왜냐하면 이제 좀 저는 보면서 이번에 영화에서 좀 슬픔 이런 거에 대해서 좀 진짜로 이제 지울 수 없는 감정 이런 식으로 좀 좀 많이 좀 이렇게 생각을 할 수 있었던 영화였던 것 같아가지고 한번 여쭤보게 되었습니다.
참고로 먼저 말씀드리면 마이카 외계에서 온 소녀는 작년에 부천국제영화제에서 처음으로 코리안 프리미어를 하면서 붙여주신 이름이에요. 제목이에요.
I don't know. I think I would call it the mooncake girl, because that's my favorite holiday, and I think that it's really about the story of the mother, you know, mother and kids.
혹시 우리 꼬마 친구 안녕하세요. 혹시 질문 있으신가요?
Oh no, okay.
아니에요. 언제든 질문 있으시면 폰 들어주시면 되겠고요.
영화 재미있게 잘 봤어요. 그리고 마지막에 마이카는 돌아온다고 하셨잖아요. 다음 영화도 만드실 건가요?
I would love to. Yeah, I'm just waiting for the studio. But actually, we showed this in the U.S. and one company they want to remake into a television series. So we're planning, we're talking.
네, 감독님 영화 재밌게 정말 많이 웃으면서 재밌게 잘 봤습니다. 그 영화 보면 중간에 한국 김치도 나오는데 김치 사대기가 드라마에서 이제 좀 이제 소품으로 사가지고 전 국민들이 또 많이 또 재밌게 보고 또 김치 사대기라는 것도 유행어도 나오고 그랬거든요. 근데 감독님께서 한국 영화 중에 혹시 이제 좀 소재 부분에서 리메이크를 해서 베트남 국민들도 좀 공감할 수 있고 그런 영화가 있으신지 궁금합니다. 예.
Well, the kimchi slap is my favorite also. It's not my idea actually; it's my producer's idea because he watches a lot of different series, and we wanted to have the kids have weapons. How do they fight against adults? But I don't want them to only shoot guns, because it's a bad example. So I wanted something creative, something fun. That's why we have like powder balls and slime, and so Anderson said, "How about a kimchi slap?" And I was like, "What?" And so he sent me all these videos, YouTube clips, like slap, 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 and I was like, "Okay, I need to put this in the movie." But like homage, I think I watch a lot of K-dramas as well, but one of my favorites is My Love from Another Star, and so I kind of think this is there's a little the relationship between Hong and Maika, and the two little boys when we were shooting, they have such a big crush on the girl, but she's like, "Ew, you guys are boys, go away."
또 질문 있으시면 네, 저 제일 뒷줄에 부탁드립니다.
시작할 때 비행기 장면 촬영이 너무 잘 된 것 같아가지고 촬영할 때 어떻게 하시는지 어려움 없이 하셨는지 보고 싶고, 그 다음에 카메라나 렌즈 종류 그리고 화면비 결정 이유를 좀 보고 싶습니다. 그리고 굉장히 이게 보다 보니까 너무 깊게 빠져들 만큼 투자만 그러니까 노력이 많이 들여진 것 같은데 제작비도 좀 궁금해요.
The budget was very, very low. So think of like how much like you think minimum is, and then cut that in half. So that's the budget. But and because the budget's so low, I have to do everything myself. So the plane we shot with Mavic, and then we shot with an FPV. So we have an FPV flying and a Mavic flying around. So it's real airplane, and then some scene, then we have the fake airplane. But some scenes you actually see the real airplane, and the way I had to do is I asked this 3D CG, VFX to build me the plane on the green screen. It's a little technical now, and I control it, and I record the motion like in QuickTime, and then I edit it into the movie. So I have to choose every clip and then add the plane and clip. At the plane, and then when there's two planes chasing, I have to add two planes. So this film took me 8 months to edit. So I had to re-edit everything myself, because my editor, it's too new for him. So he didn't know how to edit any of the stuff, you know. And the VFX team also is so new, so I have to lay everything out for them first.
전체 영화 편집이 한 8개월 정도 걸리셨다고 하는데 보통 일반적으로 한국 영화도 한 2, 3개월, 베트남도 1, 2개월 정도면 하는데 굉장히 많이 공을 들이신 거를 알 수 있었고요. 또 질문 궁금하신 거 있으신 분? 네, 가운데 분 부탁드립니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 영화 재밌게 잘 봤습니다. 그 영화가 끝나고 자막이 올라갈 때 사진과 함께 누군가를 추모하며이라고 있던데 그분이 누군지 궁금하고 마지막에 추모하시는 그 이유가 있으신지 궁금합니다.
Thank you for asking that question. That it's dedicated for my mother. Yeah. So she passed away in 2018.
정말 질문 감사합니다. 그 기념을 좀 기리고 싶어 하시는 분은 감독님의 어머니시고요. 어머니가 이제 2018년도에 돌아가셨다고 합니다.
Yeah, and so I was living in Vietnam for 10 years, and when she passed away, she was in the U.S., and so I almost went back to the U.S. I said, I think I need to go and be closer to my father. And BHD, the studio, was like, you can't leave Vietnam. We need you for the film industry here, and we need you to make a movie for us. And I said, well, what movie? I have no inspiration right now. And they said, well, look, it's just read the synopsis, and if you like it, you can write any way you want. And I read the synopsis, and the beginning is, oh, a little boy, his mother died, and he's so sad until he meets the alien girl. So when I read that, I went, okay, I know this little boy. I can write this movie. And so I decided I'm going to make this and dedicate for my mom.
또 앞에 계신 중간에 왼쪽 분이요.
거의 그 질문이 다 나와서 제가 묻고 싶은 게 있겠습니다. 감독님이 어떻게 영화를 시작하게 되셨으며, 그 다음에 또 월남의 그 특유의 문화와 정신을 담는다 그러면 어떤 걸 담으시는지, 그 다음에 또 어떤 영화를 만들고 싶으신지.
Thank you. I started making films. I think it's because when I was, young, I did all kinds of art. So I can draw a little, I can play music, I can sing. I can sculpt and things. But I'm never good at any one. Just a little bit of everything. And I think that film is great because then you can work with other artists, right, to do everything. And then tell a story. So, but if I didn't get into film school, I was going to be a teacher for little kids. So I feel like it's always part of who I am. Is I love working with little kids, teaching. And so this is a perfect way. And so all of my films, in some ways or another, is about how kids sort of overcome traumas in their life, And so my first film was about a little boy, and it was about me coming over to America. And that film, my first film, we premiered in Busan, world premiere. And I feel like Maika, I've done 7 movies, but Maika is the second most personal for me. And I'm so happy to bring it back to Busan to share. And so it's all really stories that I always try to relate films that I can connect with, My next film is a horror film. In Vietnam, I'm known as the horror film guy. But the theme is still the same. The theme is like mother and daughter, and about letting go, of feeling of not being loved or feeling of being hated and things like that. So always it's a theme. Yeah. Yes, and I always try to showcase Vietnam. But the thing is this, though. I mean, I was just sharing with Somo and my friends. I always want to share what is happening in Vietnam right now. Because I think a lot of times when people think of Vietnam, they still think rice fields. They still think like old culture. But I think that what's really exciting right now is like Vietnam we are in a conflict. We have to try to hold on to tradition, but still have something new, you know. And there's always that fight to catch up with the rest of the world, but at the same time still have our identity. And so that's why I'm really proud of making Maika, because I'm able to pull in, you know, the culture, share so much of the culture, and a lot of the family values of Vietnamese. And so yeah.
네, 잠깐 한 가지 정정하자면 감독님은 영화학교를 졸업하신 게 맞고요. 네, 그 베트남이 지금 고속 경제 성장하고 있고 뭐 우리와 또 인연이 좀 많죠. 한국과도 좋은 인연 악연도 이렇게 얽혀 있는데 역사적으로 뭔가 계속 앞으로도 즐겁게 감상할 수 있는 좋은 작품들이 많이 나올 것으로 예상이 되는데요. 혹시 질문 있으신 분 또? 네. 근데 제가 궁금했던 거 한 가지 첨언하자면은 이 영화가 마이카가 2022년에 썬댄스 영화제에서 처음으로 이제 소개가 됐는데요. 이 마이카를 보는 사실 아시아 관객들은 대충 어떨지 감이 오는데 이 미국이나 다른 유럽의 관객들은 어떻게 좀 반응이 다를까 약간 궁금하거든요.
We were able to, actually before Sundance, we were able to sell the film to U.S. Distributor, and she was so happy to have an Asian film to distribute an Asian kids film that she gave us money to do an English dub. And so this is the first time like a Vietnamese film has an English dub, and we were able to cast Vietnamese Americans to do the English, and I actually got to direct the dub. So it's very, very special. Yeah, there's a lot of Western audiences have liked it a lot. Some people have compared it to E.T., you know, and I take it as a compliment, you know. They say it's like E.T. meets Spy Kids or something like that. So example, like there is that joke where when Maika first meets home, and she speaks in Czechoslovakian, and he's like, what? And then she speaks in Vietnamese, but she speaks with a northern accent. So he goes, oh, you're from Hanoi. I thought you were an alien, right? So that, like a lot of Vietnamese people, they get that right away, you know? And so a lot of things where I just do a little callback, then they get. But of course, more American audiences, they laugh because of the physical joke, you know? Things like that, yes. But for sure, Vietnamese audience, they love the kimchi slap more than American.
베트남도 남부 호치민시죠. 사이공과 북부 하노이시의 사투리가 굉장히 다르다고 하더라고요. 실제로. 그래서 그 얼마 전에 작년에 그 한국 영화 645였나요? 그 코미디 영화가 베트남에서 또 흥행 1위를 했었는데 그 한국도 남북한 간의 사투리가 다르듯이 그 베트남도 굉장히 차이가 나서 이제 그런 쪽의 유머를 베트남 관객들은 더 재밌게 받아들인 것 같고요. 혹시 또 질문 있으신 분 계신가요? 그러시면 감독님께서 which question was the most significant?
Oh, well, I mean,
가장 인상 깊은 질문해 주신 분은?
Of course there are two, because I want to give the special present to the little girl who asked the question, because she's so brave.
네, 우리 소녀 관객님 이 다음 편 제작되나요, 모르신? 네.
Yes, but I really want to thank the audience member who asked about mother, you know. Yeah, and then I found out Maika in Czechoslovakian means mother. So, you know, yeah, after I didn't even know this.
그러면 감독님 마지막 이제 소감 듣고 정리를 하면 될 것 같아요. Would you like to say the viewers? Yeah.
Yes. Oh no, I just wanted to thank you guys again so much for staying and asking your questions. And yeah, if you'd like to have more questions, I'd be happy to answer outside. And I also wanted to thank the Cinema Week in the city of Busan, because it's so special. This is, like I said, it's my second most personal film after my first film, and both are here. So it's great. Thank you so much.